Our next speaker is Roger Wareham of the December 12th movement. So Roger Wareham is a founding member of the December 12th movement, a lifelong community activist, a former political prisoner, and an international human rights attorney. He has presented the United States human rights violations against black people to the United Nations Human Rights Mechanism in Geneva since 1989. Let's give it up for Roger.
Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. U.S. hands off Zimbabwe. Lift the sanctions now. Listen carefully. 3 U.S. presidents have said the following. Zimbabwe constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States. They've said that with a straight face, and they've used that as a justification to impose sanctions on Zimbabwe. What has Zimbabwe done to deserve that punishment? Zimbabwe, lone and first of all African countries, had the temerity to defy precedent and return the land that was stolen from them by white colonizers to the indigenous people. And that is what is perceived as a threat to the United States foreign policy, which means that the United States foreign policy is a policy of colonialism, neocolonialism, and white supremacy. So we're here today as a member of the December 12th movement to say very simply, and also as a follower of Malcolm X, who understood the importance of Pan-Africanism in the liberation of African people in the diaspora and on the African continent, to say very simply that Zimbabwe will not submit to the strategy of regime change. The United States passed a bill in 2001, co-sponsored by Jesse Helms, and I can see by the gray hairs on people here, they know who Jesse Helms was in terms of an unrepentant cracker. And Hillary Clinton. It was called the Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act, and it imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe until the President of the United States decided that democracy would be restored in Zimbabwe. And since that time, sanctions as a weapon of war have been imposed on Zimbabwe to make the economy scream in an attempt to get the masses of the people of Zimbabwe to rise up against the government, against ZANU-PF, and return Zimbabwe to actually Rhodesia, very similar to Make America Great Again. So I leave you today with one thought. Lift the sanctions now. Lift the sanctions now. U.S. hands off Zimbabwe. Thank you.